Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Richard Arjun Kaul, and welcome to my video internet show. Today is a hot and sunny June the 26th, and I am going to read a letter today. This is a letter that I'm sending out in connection with the suspension of my medical license. Now, as I said before, I keep, wanting to, get away from having to talk any more about the license, because it seems like that's all I've spent the last 3 years doing. But this, I think, is going to be the final mention of it. And it's a letter that's going out to a number of people, and it's with regards to a request that I made in writing to the medical board for a complete copy of my medical file. Now, I must admit that as per the communications, the medical board have been very reticent to hand over the file, which has raised some questions in my mind. So with that said, I'm going to read the letter, which I think explains chronologically the circumstances surrounding my case and the suspension of the license. And it's a letter dated June the 24th, 2015, and it's addressed to a Miss Denise Lasorte, who is a senior claims examiner at an insurance company called Catlin. And Catlin is one of the insurance companies that's covering me on this particular malpractice suit. And the letter is: Dear Miss Lasorte, I hope you are well. We have not communicated for a while, but I considered it important to send this letter to apprise you of the increasingly complex situation in New Jersey that surrounds principally the Anna Pinto case and the suspension of my medical license in June 2012. Chronology. In June 2012, my medical license was illegally and without warning suspended by the New Jersey Medical Board based on fictitious allegations that I was not properly trained to perform minimally invasive spine surgery, despite the fact that I had successfully performed 800 spinal discectomies and fusions between the years of 2003 and 2012. In addition, the medical board was completely aware of this fact, and there was no order to prohibit the performance of these procedures. During this time, I had no deaths, no life-threatening complications, and a 90 to 95% good to very good clinical outcome. It was, therefore, a shock when the medical board suspended my license, and the only explanation, after months of research, was that the suspension was a direct consequence of political corruption within the Chris Christie administration. Now, I realize that whenever one brings the suggestion of political corruption into a business or medical matter, there is initially a good degree of skepticism. But I can absolutely assure you this is unfortunately the case with the New Jersey Medical Board and Chris Christie, who is now widely recognized as one of the most corrupt governors in New Jersey history. The information about the details of his criminal wrongdoing came to me through several patients who I had been treating for years, but who were also part of the political process in New Jersey. And what they communicated was, to say the least, shocking. According to at least 3 independent patients, Christie had received large donations from a small group of local neurosurgeons who were my competitors And in addition, Christie collected significantly sized donations from the hospitals who were trying to put the surgical centres, one of which I owned, out of business. It does seem incredible when first heard, but as the legal process advanced, there was another shocking turn of events involving court transcription fraud that forced me to send letters to the following parties requesting a formal investigation. And they were 1. President Barack Obama, 2. Judge Howard Solomon, and 3. Chris Christie. Copies of all of these letters will be attached to this document. I did not receive any replies, and then recently filed a complaint with the Office of the U.S. Attorney in New Jersey requesting an investigation. I have yet to receive a response. This is the same office that arrested 3 previous associates of Christie, indicting them for closing 3 lanes to the busiest bridge in the world as political retribution to the mayor of a small town called Fort Lee, simply because he refused to endorse Christie in his last campaign for governor. The criminal federal trial of Bridget Kelly, Bill Baroni, and David Wildstein commences in November, and it is suffice to say that Christie and his political career are over. But the question still remains of whether he will go to jail. I have, from the very beginning of these sordid proceedings, made the repeated claim that Christie is profoundly corrupt, controls the medical board for financial and political gain, and attempts to strike deals with plaintiffs' attorneys that involve a form of racketeering, in which Christie orders the medical board to remove the license of a physician who is then at the mercy of the frivolous medical malpractice lawsuits, of which a part of the financial payout is siphoned back to Christie. This is the same technique he has used with the money he misappropriated from the pension fund belonging to the teacher, police, and firefighter unions. This man is now universally accepted as being the most corrupt governor this state has had the misfortune to vote into office. That said, I think it lays the foundation of what comes next, and which is of direct relevance to your company and the issue of whether, with this information, you will be able to have the attorneys make an application for dismissal of the Pinto case. Anna Pinto did very well after her surgery, and it was only when my license was suspended and publicly announced that she decided, under the advice of her attorney, to file a lawsuit. The chances are that had the license not been suspended, no legal action would have been taken. It is my position that the attorneys representing Pinto might be involved with Christie in the manner described above, which is otherwise referred to as racketeering. There are several legal parties ostensibly involved in this matter. 1. Dr. Richard Arjun Kaul. 2. Anna Pinto. 3. Attorney of Anna Pinto. 4. The law firm of Traub, Lieberman, and Shrewsbury. 5. The medical malpractice insurance carrier Catlin. There are also 2 entities that are suspiciously involved, and they are 1. The New Jersey Medical Board, and 2. Chris Christie. Now, it has been my very publicly held position from the commencement of these proceedings that it was about nothing but political corruption in the Christie administration. And I think my theories have become fact, as Christie is now facing multiple state and federal investigations, with a political career that is dead. In furtherance of this increasingly tenable narrative, I contacted the New Jersey Medical Board requesting a hearing to have my medical license reinstated. I naively used the services of an attorney named Michael Keating, who was at the firm of Dougie Hewitt, which is where Christie was a partner in 2004. I approached Mr. Keating in July 2014, and for 1 year, the only thing he did was send one letter to the medical board requesting an interview. His entire approach suggested that he had been contacted by either the board or the office of Christie, with orders to delay the entire process in the hope that I would just give up. Approximately 3 weeks ago, I sent a number of strongly worded emails to Mr. Keating, as he was not returning my phone calls. He eventually replied with an oddly friendly email suggesting that he would talk to the board about scheduling a hearing. By this time, I had lost complete faith in this attorney and dismissed him. I took over the management of the board application and about 2 weeks ago entered into a set of email communications with the BME director, a copy of which the communications are attached, during which I asked for a complete copy of my file, including all and any communications with the office of Mr. Christie, as it is my firmly held belief that he had ordered the board to remove my license after having received a large donation from the neurosurgeons. In the email, I gave them 4 weeks to produce the entire file to which I am legally entitled, and their suspicious response was that they now had to talk to their attorney. For what reason, I am not sure, but it has deepened the air of suspicion over this already tainted case. To bring this letter to its main point, I would like nothing more than to have the case dismissed, which would save the insurance company further expenditure. For this to happen, it must be proved that the suspension of my license was illegal and a consequence of political corruption. To prove the aforementioned issues will require that you, the insurance company, and attorneys request, with my permission, which by this letter you have, a complete copy of my medical board file. This will enable you to more readily ascertain if political influence/corruption was improperly applied by the office of Mr. Christie, which was the direct cause of the medical license suspension. Judging where Mr. Christie stands now, both in terms of public opinion and ratings, I don't anticipate too much difficulty in proving these allegations and hopefully bringing this case to a speedy conclusion. Yours sincerely, Richard Arjun Kaul.